Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Coffee with Kenobi CWK Live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zare, thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Minta, our superstar Coffee with Kenobi co-host, is here. Minta, this is the way it's CWK Day. Minta, I got a lot of great feedback on your show. You did a great job, and I'm sure everyone loved hearing you. Let's hear it again for Minta. Mary is here. Happy Andor Eve, everyone. Great to see you, Mary. Ross is here. Happy Tuesday. Great job on the podcast. Minta and Dennis. Yes, they were awesome, of course. And welcome, Ross. Daniel, hello. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Minta, you are welcome. You are so welcome. Everyone loved hearing you chat, and I love chatting with all of you here on Coffee with Kenobi Live. The show tonight, Of course, the show tonight is going to be all about the episode that we were just talking about, that Minta and Dennis co-hosted with me. Our top 5 moments from episode 9 of Andor. Nobody's listening. And of course, bring home the galaxy updates and your comments and questions. So, this week was a great week. I'm sure some of you noticed online that I was at Disney World with my wife and a dear friend of ours, couple friends of ours. Hey, look who's here. Christina says, hello there. So glad I could join today. It's so rare as it is 11 a.m. for me. Christina, it's great to see you. It's great to see you. We're excited to meet you at the Galactic Star Cruiser next month. Christina and several of our friends are going on the Halcyon trip, June 12th to 14th, summer 2023. There are still some rooms available, but not many. In fact, there are many less than there were last week. So if you want to go with me and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, go ahead and go to coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel to join me on the Galactic Star Cruiser. Christina, when I found out you're going, I just couldn't believe it. It's so awesome. It's so exciting. There's several of you here that are going to be joining us. It's really pretty spectacular. All right, let's go ahead and jump into what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
This week, more great fun. You may have noticed that as far as Bring Home the Galaxy, I got a great package yesterday from Disney and Lucasfilm. Thank you again, Disney and Lucasfilm, for sending that over. That was fantastic. There is video on my Instagram story and on TikTok of all the goodies, and a few of the goodies are actually here in this little presentation. So I believe this is week 4 of Bring Home the Galaxy. This is the Lucasfilm and Disney initiative, where I don't know if initiative is the right word, but it is the program that they're doing where every Tuesday we get some great new Star Wars products. So the Darksaber, the Darksaber is awesome. This is the Galaxy's Edge Legacy Lightsaber Edition. Let's see if I can find it. I actually have this. I'm going to show you later in the show how it works. But you can order this online at shopdisney.com. There are a limited amount of them, but if you're not able to get the Galaxy's Edge, you can order it online. And I can tell you right now, it is a spectacular lightsaber to have. These are the special. There are many different kinds of these sunglasses. This is actually the Fennec Shand one. So Ross, I put this picture up here for you, because I knew that you would be digging it for sure. But this is the Fennec Shand model. There are several other models of these glasses that are available. The company here is DIFF Eyewear. DIFF Eyewear. So that's pretty cool. Let's go to the next thing. Only 6 hours away. It airs at 5 p.m. for me. Wow. Well, that's not too bad. Not too bad, Christina. Okay, this is a tent on Shop Disney. This is it says, quote, kids tent. It's the Falcon cockpit. You know, I know it's labeled as a kids tent, but who among us watching the show would not love that thing? Well, look who's here. Jen Subchak Chai. Hello, Jen. Jen was an amazing guest on Coffee with Kenobi 2 weeks ago. Jen, great to see you, and great job again on Coffee with Kenobi. Got a lot of great feedback on you as well. She has the DIFF Ahsoka sunglasses, as she said, and they are great. Well, that is super cool. And they would look awesome in this cool tent, right? I mean, look at that thing. All right, the Ray Pop. I don't think I showed this last week. I think it's pretty new. It all kind of jumbles together after a while, but this is an Amazon exclusive. Power of the Galaxy Ray. I really like the serene pose there. She's very in tune with the Force. This is, of course, from The Rise of Skywalker, but really cool stuff. Ben is here. Good evening. Sorry I'm late, Ben. No, sorry necessary. Ross says, well, looks like my cat's may be getting a Millennium Falcon. That's probably the best sentence I've heard all day. That's a great sentence. All right, speaking of great, the Art FX collectible from Kota Bu. Yeah, my gosh, I've seriously become that guy who needs glasses. So Koto Bukiai. I'm sorry I can't pronounce this correctly, but this is the Obi-Wan Kenobi collectible from the Kenobi series. Phenomenal stuff. Minta says there are countless Star Wars Funko Pops. It's astounding. It really is. There's so many great items out there, and it just doesn't stop. Lori says, hi, Dan. Still at work? Well, Lori, good to hear from you. Lori and I have been chatting on Instagram. She had a pretty awesome time at Galaxy's Edge in California. Daniel says, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, I know. Isn't it great? Minta says she needs that Kenobi figure. Minta, it's a really cool one. The likeness is awesome. Daniel, I know you're a big Kenobi guy. I knew you would love it. Okay, so check this out. This is a new reveal from the Vintage Collection. This is Commander Colt, a really, really fantastic figure that is going to be available. Let's see. It's an exclusive. Let me see where it is. It's from the Clone Wars animated series. And I'm pretty sure it's going to go on sale tomorrow. I'm scrolling through here trying to see. Oh, Walmart. It's exclusively from Walmart. Available November 9th. So that is going to be tomorrow. That is, again, Commander Colt. Okay. Not to be outdone, Vintage Collection. This guy knows a thing or two about the clones. This is a Boba Fett, obviously, from the Vintage Collection. What's nice about this one, and it was revealed on StarWars.com today, this is a representation of the 3 3/4 inch scale one with the classic Kenner deco, which is awesome, but it's still a modern Fett, but with a classic paint job, which is so great. Ben says, if Kenobi was on my ballot, I'd vote for him. Well, there you go. He's pretty dependable. Look at this. Look at this. Ross, when I saw this, I thought of you, man. These are really, really sharp looking varsity jackets by BioWorld, and they are, I believe, on sale now. Let's see where you can get these beauties at. Let's see. You've got your X-Wing, you've got your Imperial one as well. So I think it's from Heroes and Villains. Yeah, Heroes and Villains and Shop Disney. Yep, they're $140 each. Pretty great. Really, really nice looking. Okay, so this droid you will certainly recognize from Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is the Lola, LOLA59, or Lola. This is an animatronic droid from Hasbro. A really, really nice collectible. Great fun, great detail. Minta says you can't have too many jackets, especially if you live in Vermont. I have no doubt about that. And they're great looking too. And then finally, there is this Boba Fett edition wireless controller and quick charging stand from Razer. There's one of the Mandalorian as well and the Clone Trooper. So really, really nice stuff. Those are the main ones. Christina says, oh my gosh, Lola is so cute, right? Daniel says, yes, +1 on that. That's great. All right, so that's all your collectibles. Some of the main highlights. There are many, many more. You can go to StarWars.com or CoffeeWithKenobi.com, or you, of course, can find them on Shop Disney. And whenever there are announcements like this, usually pre-orders for figures are the next day, about 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And when I get a chance to get to it, I always post the affiliate links over for you as well. in the CWK Cafe. Now, the CWK Cafe, again, is that Coffee with Kenobi Facebook group. We've got over 700 members now. It's a great place to go to talk about Star Wars. It's spoiler free, it's family friendly, it's very positive, and we have a great time. Ben wants to know, is there one for the PlayStation? You know, Ben, I am not sure. Not in the press release that I was sent. That doesn't mean it's not a thing, but I'm honestly not quite sure. So I don't know. I will keep my eyes open. If I find out, I will certainly post it in the Coffee with Kenobi CWK Cafe. So now, let's go ahead and jump into our top five. Our top five tonight, of course, is your top five moments from Andor. Nobody's Listening, episode 9. And I pointed this out on the show, but I love that there's an exclamation point in the title of the episode, very much demonstrating the urgency of this. Christina says a top five isn't enough. For this episode, a top 10 would barely cover it. Every scene, every moment, so important to the development of not only the characters, but the overarching story. The true faces of our characters are being revealed. Well, that is very well said. The true faces indeed. So again, here we go. Top 5 moments from Andor. Nobody's Listening. Let's do this. Number 5, I put Thug Life, so let me explain what that means. Towards the end of the episode, Mon Mothma finds out that she needs a substantial sum of money, and she needs to do it very much in a way that is not becoming of a senator. She's got to go through some back channels and borrow some money from a Chandrilan banker that can be trusted and has so much money. And eventually, they introduce the name of a character that is, in Mon Mothma's mind, not a banker, but a thug. So why did I pick this as my number 5? Simply because this shows me that there's another side of this, besides the rebels, besides the Imperials, the criminal element, which hasn't really been brought up in Andor yet, but the fact that we've got a new wrinkle in Mon Mothma's life and the duress it causes her shows me that this is a real problem. But again, they're opening up more doors and more pathways to really challenging stuff that's going to really push our characters to the brink. And I'm really interested in seeing what that's going to be. Ben's number 5 is Yulof. He's a victim of this terrible system, and you just feel for him the whole time. He just looks lost by the end, and it's painful to see. It is terrible, and it's so close to the word Olaf. I'm sure I'm not the first person to notice that. So one is very happy and joyful, and one is very sad and tragic. Number 5 for Christina is Cyril the Stalker. As much as I don't like Daedra, I can still empathize with her discomfort in that moment, particularly when he grabbed her elbow to stop her from leaving. Many women know that feeling. Yeah, that was a really crazy scene, which I'm going to talk about later. Number 5 for Daniel. The whole prison setting made for great storytelling. It is nice that they are slowing things down to focus on details. Yes, this whole series has been very methodical in how it breaks things down and explains what's going to happen. And when you do get the payoffs, they're really powerful. Jen's number 5 is Daedra saying, the worst thing you can do right now is bore me. Oof. And when you said that, when she said that, I just got this terrible feeling that something really, really bad was going to happen. And it certainly did. Minta's 5 is Mon Mothma's cousin. It was a surprise to see that Vel was related to her, but it was clear to see that she cares for her safety regarding the recent events. Yeah, that was a fun surprise. And again, there must be more going on that we know about. Number 5 for Murray's Mon talking at the Senate and nobody listening. Then she comes out to the car to hear her cousin has arrived. The reveal that she and Vel are cousins. All of the scenes with Mon and Vel were fantastic, especially the statement by Vel before she leaves. We are fighting into dark. We have chosen a side. I actually wrote that down in my notepad because I thought it was a very important line for sure. Okay, so if you've got a number 5 and you can get a chance to type in it, feel free to do that. But I'm going to move on to number 4. So let's see what number 4 is in Nobody's Listening. Number 4 for me is I put Cyril and Daedra. Similar to what was brought up earlier by Christina. The reason I put the scene down is it's fascinating to see Cyril really asserting himself, but also very much looking like this weird, frightened person. I mean, he obviously has this weird thing. He's got this weird thing with his mother. He's got this weird thing with Daedra. He's just an awkward person, especially around females. And her reaction is interesting, but there's also this weird dynamic they share, and I don't know what's going to happen, but it's making for some fascinating, compelling storytelling. It's just they keep throwing these wrinkles and these curveballs at us that we're not expecting, and seeing these two. I mean, I think, and I said this on Coffee with Kennedy this week, I think that he sees her as a way out and a way to how he can become more, his name can be cleared in his mind, and then he can be a part of the Empire. And I think she's intrigued by his talent, but thinks he's a creep sauce because he is a creepo. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Let's see what other people have. Minta's number 4 is Cyril seems to have earned the Stalker title. Yes. It's easy to see he's clearly infatuated with Daedra, but he's not thinking clearly, and that will come back to bite him in the end. I would think so. Okay. Whoops, my thing went down there. There we go. Number 4 for Daniel is Daedra. Wow, she has really got me scared, but intrigued at the same time. She's showing how ruthless she is and the Imperial system is. Yeah, it's not a good place to be. Christine is for nobody's listening. Andor trying to convince Kino to join the fight. Excuse me. And the horrific truth about why they are making parts that could be better and more quickly assembled by an automated process. I'm just can't wait to see what's going to happen with this. I know you all agree. Number 4 for Ben is Daedra's turn. We've only seen her ambition inside the ISB, and you're almost rooting for her, but now we see how dangerous that ambition is. No rooting for her anymore. That's what I was thinking too. The way she acts with Bix, no, I'm not even rooting for her rise in the Imperial ranks because she's just not nice. She's mean. She's terrible. Number 4 for Mary Daedra, Dr. Gorson Bix. Those scenes of Bix's interrogation are basic torture was so intense and disturbing. It was awful. Very effective. Jen's number 4 is Mon Mothma smirking at Bella across the dinner table. All the good ones were taken. That was a great line. I love that line so much. And I like that she can get away with it too because it also helps. I mean, we know what she's like when she's being a full-on rebel, and it just sneaks out here, doesn't it? Lori says Cyril has such a toxic relationship with his mom. Yes, I think Cyril has a toxic relationship with everyone, but definitely with his mother. Ross had to restart his computer. He's posting 5 and 4. No problem, man. Number 5 for Ross was the ring of Kafrine getting a mention. Anto Krieger's captured pilot is hitting there when the Empire picks him up. The same place where we initially meet Cassian in Rogue One. That's right. Very good. How cool. I didn't even think about that connection. Number 4 for Ross was Bell repeats the Mon Mothma word for what Cinta tells her on Ferrix. The Empire doesn't rest Mon. The rebellion comes first. We take what's left. Again, the connections are so sharp. So good. All right, let's go to number 3. Number 3, I put Doctor's Plight. The Doctor at the end of this episode is clearly in a terrible spot. He appears to have lost hope. He doesn't think he can help anybody. He basically is just there to put him out of their misery. And I think, like everyone else in this prison, I feel like he wants to believe that there is an out, that he's not trapped, that he actually can get out eventually. But he knows deep down inside that's not the case. And what he tells Cassian and oh gosh, Andy Serkis's character, whose name is suddenly escaping me, they very much feel hopeless. But Cassian doesn't. Cassian is a fighter. Cassian is a fighter. But that's not how it really all works, then, is it? He eventually is able to get Andy Serkis's character to bring out the inner anger that he has and this decision that he is going to change his point of view. But this thing with the Doctor and Yulof has to happen first. I was actually reading your comments while I was talking, which is why I sounded like I didn't know what I was talking about. But what you're writing is very interesting. So I'm going to just jump right to that because I know everybody wants to hear it. Number 4 for Josh, the ISP Roundtable, Pure Evil. That's for sure. And Josh, welcome to the show, buddy. Good to see you. Number 3 for Minta, Bix's torture was hard to watch, even though he couldn't see what she was hearing. It was clear that it was messing her up emotionally, physically, and mentally. Didn't help that the doctor took delight in his work. Yeah, he's a sadist, for sure. Number 3 for Daniel, Gorst and the torture device, so wicked but intelligent. Intimidation. Yes. Christina 3, Mon's speech. Trying to maintain the function and purpose of the Senate in a galactic empire with no concern for the rights of its citizens. Give me any moment of Mon Mothma in the Senate. I'm loving her storyline. She's phenomenal. Number 3 for Ross, Bix's screen, the most uncomfortable moment in Star Wars history, in my opinion. Wow, that's huge, and I think you've got a case there. Gen number 3 is Dr. Gorse's explanation of the Dizonite sound torture. It's so creepy and awful, isn't it? Number 3 for Mary, Cassian talking with Kino in their quarters, trying to get information from Kino, but Kino not having anything to do with it. Cassian yelling that no one cares or no one is listening to them. I like that too. I'm definitely going to be bringing that up one real soon. Number 3 for Ben. Vel and Mon Mothma, both of them reveal their relation and how they're in this rebellion together. I have a feeling this moment will be very important later on. I do too. I absolutely do too. There's just so much more. And not much time left in this season either. Number 3 for Josh. The torture scene goes on for over a minute. Excellent acting and showing how evil Daedra is in her mission. It was easy to watch this scene, and several of you have pointed this out. It's really easy to watch the scene and to forget that you're watching acting. It's just very, very well done and very intense. And this whole arc. I mean, I think I like this arc better than the first major arc with the capture of the Imperial finances. I like this. But number 2 for me, moving on to number 2, nobody's listening. The Aldhani arc was great, but I find this to be even more fascinating. I wrote nobody's listening because it's in that moment when Cassian is so bold. He just doesn't care. It feels reckless, but it is, but it isn't. Because he's very much saying to everybody as loud as he can, blistering the walls of this white, pristine hallway. Nobody's listening. He's saying the Empire doesn't care about us. We are worthless. He's trying to plant seeds. We got to fight back. We can't just lay here and let this happen to us. And it's just very powerful. It's very, very dynamic, very electric, very tense filled, because you believe it, but you also know it's the Empire and they're just so unpredictable. But Cassian, this is again part of what he does to evoke change, or to hopefully evoke change. I mean, that's certainly, you hope that's what's going to happen. I mean, he is in Rogue One, but we'll see how that happens. Number 2 for Minta. Droids are more valuable, than people. That was cold even for Daedra, which shows that the Empire sees its subjects as mere objects than living beings. That's for sure. Lori says, sounds like screams of dying children in the torture machine. Yeah, it's terrible. Mary's 2, Cyril's relationship with his mother and Daedra. Seeing how he reacts with his mother shows how much he seems to be searching for a connection with someone else like Daedra. I agree. There's some kind of weird dynamic there. Number 2 for Christina, Cassian's connections. He has been observing the facility, the guards, the other inmates since he first arrived, and after being there a month, he has developed relationships with inmates who can help him. Yes, it's true. Number 2 for Josh, all the good ones are taken. Solid character moments in the Mothma household. Very good character moments. That's again why the show is so good, the character stuff. Number 2 for Jen is Cassian and Kino's bedtime chat. The look on Andy Serkis's face. You can tell he's thinking about what Cassian's saying. Yeah, again, it's like that whole nobody's listening thing. Kino, it's starting to plant seeds in him that he doesn't want to water, but his subconscious and his psyche, you can tell, are starting to embrace this idea. Even though he's trying to talk himself out of it, you can't trust the Empire, and he knows that deep down. Number 2 for Daniel, inner workings of the cutthroat Imperial ranks. I love that they are taking a deep dive into their world. It would change the way I watch A New Hope. You know what? I've been watching New Hope with some of my mythology students in class, and you're right about that. It's amazing. Number 2 for Ross. The Imperial's asking for permission to hang Selman Pak. What is Marvel going to do when Pak is hung? The PTSD from Clem being killed that way is going to set her off. Yeah, ugh. I didn't even think about that aspect of it, Ross, but you're right. Number 2 for Ben is Bix. The torture scene was very uncomfortable, but the creative choice to only hear her reaction was enough to bring the pain alive. The silence is more powerful than actually hearing what she's hearing. It's like Jaws, right? You don't see Jaws, but when you don't see him, that's when it's more frightening, I think. It's the Hitchcockian approach. But let's go to number 1. The number 1 thing that we have decided is our top 5 from Nobody's Listening. Let me try that again. Nobody's Listening is, there we go, my number 1. I put 12. Seems like every single time I pick a number 1, it's the ending, because I do sort of think of these in order a little bit, and it's just great because you keep waiting for Kino to jump on board, and you want him to be a good guy just because Andy Serkis is so charismatic. But at the end, after seeing Yulof die and what the doctor says and what Cassian has been saying, and that realization that we've got to put a stop to this, we've got to get out, and then we've got to wait a week to find out how that's going to wrap up or what's going to happen, is like electric. Man, it's so electric. It got me really fired up. And when it's over again, you say, oh man, oh no, because you want to see what's going to happen. And if Kino is going to work with Cassian, at least that's what they want us to think here, that is going to be awesome. That is going to be awesome. And I think a lot of you are going to find this to be in your number 1 as well. Mary says Andy Serkis is amazing. The scenes in the tubes going back and forth to the floor and quarters were great. Watching Kino begin to realize they are never getting out of there was fantastic viewing. The last statement of the show was fantastic. Never more than 12. I agree. The one for Josh. Doctors are not supposed to kill people, to the realization that the entire floor is killed. Kino's answer that there are no more than 12 guards in each floor. So far, we've all got pretty much the same number 1. Number 1 for Minta. Kino's realization: for years he kept his head down in the hopes of getting out to lead a normal life. Those dreams are quickly dashed when he witnesses his friend being euthanized like an animal. Instead of treating with dignity, and he discovers never releasing their prisoners after the second floor out of the truth. This leads him to cooperate with Cassian and find a way out of the prison. Yes. Thank you, Mita. That was great. Jen's number 1 is never more than 12. Also, are we all going? Is this going to be a universal tie? Cassian and prisoners are strategically figuring out an escape plan. They just need some things to go their way to activate others, like Kino. The one line implicitly tells us it's game on. Exactly, game on. Lori's number 1 is the whole death of Yulof. It was intense, really was. Very heartbreaking and important. Daniel number 1, Vel's relation to Mon. Parent can go suck an egg. Daraj has done a great job of making him unpopular with me. I like that. Go suck an egg. Number 1 for Ben is Kino Loy's epiphany. He realizes they're not getting out and immediately switches to plan B, and even better, he proves he has obviously contemplated plan B before. It's true. It's so true. So Josh is looking that way. It is looking that way. Well, a great episode. We've only got 2 left. Naturally, the next one is going to be also awesome. Your top 5 moments from episode 10 of Andor. I'm very much looking forward to that. I've also got something to look forward to. I've got an amazing interview coming up soon from an important creator in Andor that I'm looking forward to sharing with all of you. That is coming up very, very soon. In the meantime, thank you as always for preparing your list and bringing it to Coffee with Kenobi's Live. Look, every week we do this. We watch the recent episodes, or we have some sort of a topic. I give you a week to think about it. Then you can get a top 5, and your voice is heard. That's one of the big cruxes, one of the big inspirations of Coffee with Kenobi from the very beginning, back in May of 2013, that you have a voice. You have a voice in Stars and in Fandom, and I want to help give you a platform for that. So whether it's here on the live show, which you can catch, of course, every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, or listen to the audio podcast version of it every week wherever you listen to podcasts. It's also on our YouTube channel in the CWK Cafe. You've got so many options. But I want to hear what you have to say. I want people to hear what you have to say because this is a spectacular Star Wars community, and I want to help give you a voice. So, let's see what's going on here. Mina says, everyone else had their support critter for Andor. That's great. Mary says, I watched this episode more than any of the others. I have a feeling the next one is going to be even more intense and awesome. It's sure looking that way, isn't it? So, let's go ahead and jump into Ask Dan Z. Jen says, so glad I could participate this week. It's usually dinner time for my little ones in my time zone, so it can be tricky. You know what? I'm glad you're here too, Jen. That is cool. Please tell your family I said hello. I'm glad that they shared you with us on Coffee with Kenobi Live. How fun. Ben says, any of the actors from the Acolyte casting announcement that you're excited to see the most and what they can bring to Star Wars? You know, I meant to put them here in the show. In fact, I'm going to try to do that now. I've got it saved on my phone. I'm going to save it, or I'm going to share it here so that we can do that. Hello, airdrop. There we go. Coming in. And there we go. Okay. I'll pull this over here. There we go. Let me move this out of the way. Let me hide myself. Hide myself? Is that a thing? Let's see. I will turn off my camera for a second. No, that didn't work. Let me try something else. There we go. How about now? You should be able to hear me now. Might be the wrong input. But I didn't change anything. It looks like it's working now. I'm getting a bunch of sound levels back. Okay. Well, that was really, really weird. There I am. Sorry about that. Literally nothing changed over here. It just went off and went on. The wonder of technology. I think maybe the Empire knows that I'm trying to spread this propaganda that they're not being very nice. Is that what it is? I think that is it. So anyway, I put up that picture of the Acolyte cast, and it looks to me like we've got a spectacular cast. I believe one of the actors from The Good Place, of course, Carrie-Anne Moss of Matrix fame, is a great actor. Just really very much a powerhouse. Thanks everybody for your patience. Nobody disconnected, so that's great. You know what else would be great? If a few of you said nobody's listening, which is pretty clever. Like if we all bring a friend next week, we can continue to grow this audience. It's a hard time. There's really no good time, because it's dinner time for some people. I usually dinner right before this, and whatever the reason, it's tricky. But I am so grateful that you all join me. So grateful. Was as smooth as the Colts offense? Well, I understand things do not look good to be a Colts fan these days, but hopefully Jeff Saturday will help to improve things for you, Ross. I know I'll have to chat about that sometime. I'm excited, of course, about Justin Fields, even though the Bears lost. I feel like there's some reason to be optimistic. But what's really a good reason to be optimistic? Do you know what a really good reason to be optimistic is? All of you in the Star Wars community that are just so much fun. You become like friends and family, and it's because of the Star Wars universe created by Mr. George Lucas. Speaking of our community, I hope you can join us June 12th to the 14th next year, 2023, on the Galactic Star Cruiser with me and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. If you're interested in a no cost, no obligation quote, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/Mouse Fan Travel and let them know that you're with Dan Zare and Coffee with Kenobi. So next week, of course, Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to talk all about the 10th episode of Andor Season 1. Meantime, may the Force be with you. Mary, have a great week. Enjoy Andor later tonight and tomorrow. Yes, it's going to be so much fun. Ross, have a great week. Enjoy tomorrow's episode. For sure, it's going to be a blast. And I can't wait to talk about it with all of you next Tuesday. Thank you again for your patience with that random audio stuff. But we have a voice here at Coffee with Kenobi, and you are a big part of that. Thanks as always for your support, for your friendship, and just being a light side, not a creature of the Force, but you're all on the light side of the Force, and I appreciate that. Thank you for seeing the light and being the light for people. Appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. Christina, glad to have you. Great that you could join us from across the world, literally. Lori, thank you so much. Thanks all of you again. Remember, this is the podcast you're looking for. I will see you next time.